Hello everyone. Welcome to my week 7 NFL predictions. What has this last week been? We had the Browns upsetting the Niners, the Jets upsetting the Eagles, the Giants nearly upsetting the Bills, and for some reason the Cowboys Chargers score has not been put on there. But Cowboys won 20-17. The Bears didn't do as well as I thought they would. Nor did the Bucks, but that's kind of expected. The Lions are a pretty good team. They have a very good defense. The Texans held off the Saints. The Seahawks cannot score in the red zone. If we could have scored in the red zone so many times, we would have won by like 2 scores. But no, Gino's not the guy. We need an actual proper franchise quarterback. I don't think Gino's it. Desmond Ridder's streak of being undefeated at home was broken by Washington. No surprise with the Dolphins beating the Panthers. The Chiefs barely beat the Broncos. Raiders beat the Patriots, but they actually scored. Yeah, that's pretty much the recap. Let's get into week 7, shall we? The first game being the Jaguars at the Saints. Thursday night. And the Jags seem to have an outstanding defense, honestly. Compared to the fact that Saints don't have that much of an offense, apparently, even though they should, it's just not working. Don't know why, but it's not. Jags defense is good at shutting teams down. Their offense is just as good. I'm gonna pick the Jags to go into New Orleans and get a win. I just don't trust the Saints offense. I don't think they'll score that much. The next game is the Bills at the Patriots. The Bills in the past 2 weeks haven't been too convincing. Not to mention they lost one of them to the Jags in the UK. But they've played both of those games in 2 different countries. And the Patriots aren't that good either, honestly. They're just not good, like, at all. They're one of the worst teams in the league. The Bills need a bounce back game. I think Patriots are a perfect team to do that with. I think the Bills will finally get their form back after 2 weeks of playing in different countries and possibly experiencing any form of jet lag over the course of 2 weeks. But I think they'll go into New England and they'll get the victory over the Patriots. The next game is the Cleveland Browns at the Indianapolis Colts. This just comes down to, can Gardner Minshew deal with the Browns defense? And I think the simple answer is no. No, he cannot. I'm picking the Browns to win. Their defense is really good. They upset the Niners. They were able to score enough. Granted, it was bad conditions. Maybe I think the refs helped a bit, and Niners missed 2 field goals. But still, putting up 19 on the 49ers it's not an easy task to do. And the Browns managed to do it. The defense is really good, possibly the best in the league. I'm going to pick the Browns with their elite defense. The next game is the Lions at the Ravens. Now, if I recall, the last time they played, Justin Tucker had a NFL record game-winning field goal of like 65 yards, 66 yards. So the Lions just got very unlucky there. But now they are a lot stronger. And the Ravens, they're a bit flimsy, honestly. They didn't have a completely convincing win over the Titans. The Lions are just as strong as anyone. I'm picking the Lions to go into Baltimore and take the win. And so far, I've only picked away teams. Lovely. The next game is the Las Vegas Raiders at the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is injured for the Bears. So they pretty much just got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and maybe whoever their running back is. I don't actually remember who it is. The Raiders managed to just about beat the Patriots, but they're a 3-3 team. Don't know how, but they are, because they barely beat the Packers and they barely beat the Patriots. Both were by 4 points. But overall, I think certainly defensively, Raiders are the better team. I think without Justin Fields, Chicago isn't going to have as good an offense. Not that I think Justin Fields is, great, but he is. How do I explain it? He's their guy for like a reason. I reckon he could do more, but he's not living up to his potential. But that's who the Bears have as their guy. That's their trusted guy, and they're without him. And I think Raiders will capitalize on that, and I think the away team will again get the win. The next game is the Falcons at the Buccaneers. Both these teams lost last week, but one of these was more surprising than the other. And I guess that would be the Falcons, because I'm not surprised the Bucks lost because it's to the Lions, but again, I'm not too surprised that the Falcons lost because I said Commanders would win. So I got the prediction right against the team that's more surprising to have lost. But overall, I think Bucks are just the better team. They've got a good defense. I trust their offense more than the Falcons. Desmond Ridder isn't looking too great. It just seems to be just carried by Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. I don't remember who their wide receivers are. But I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to be the first home team that I picked to get a win. The next game is the Commanders at the Giants. I don't know who to pick with this one, honestly. Commanders and Giants has always been a very unbalanced matchup. Well, I say unbalanced. It's the most balanced, but like it's the most. It's like a pendulum. It just goes both ways. They just keep swinging back and forth at each other. So I'm not too sure who to pick here. I think Saquon Barkley is back, and I think Tyrod Taylor possibly looks better than Daniel Jones. He might. I'm not sure if Daniel Jones is still injured or not. But I guess I just trust the Commanders' offense a bit more than the Giants. So I am gonna pick them, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win, or if they tie. Because if anyone this season is gonna tie, it's gonna be Commanders Giants probably. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of those happen. But I'm gonna pick Washington. The next game is the Steelers at the Rams. Steelers are coming off a bye week, and they generally do better after a bye week, I think. Not to mention their defense is great. TJ Watt is amazing. Their offense has some problems. It's just their offensive coordinator, I think it is, Matt Canada. But I think that the Steelers will actually win against the Rams this week. The Rams have a decent defense with Aaron Donald, but again, as I've said a couple times this season already, they're without Jalen Ramsey. That defense has fallen a bit. But they've got their offense back. They've got Cooper Kupp back. They've still got Puka Nacua. They've still got Tutu Atwell. I think did they let go of Cam Akers? I can't remember if they let go of Cam Akers because I think someone went to the Vikings. I think Akers went to the Vikings or something like that. So I think this battle is just going to come down to the Rams offense versus the Steelers defense, and I think the Steelers defense is just going to slightly come out on top on that one. The next game is the Cardinals at the Seahawks. I didn't see much of the Cardinals last week, but from what I remember, I think they scored 9 points, which is 3 field goals against the Rams. The Rams don't have a great defense, but they still managed to hold the Cardinals only down to field goals. Their offense isn't too good either, but that's expected. They're supposed to be tanking this season, but they're looking competitive. And I think the Seahawks defense is really, really good. It's just a couple of problems on the offense. If we get that sorted, we could be a really good team. And as much as I hate to do this, I'm picking the Seahawks. I don't trust us fully, but I think we can get a win against Arizona at home. The next game is the Chargers at the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't been all that convincing, but I just don't trust the Chargers enough either to pick them. I really want to pick an upset with the Chargers, but I have to pick the Chiefs just because they are able to consistently move the ball, I guess. Mahomes hasn't had a great past couple of weeks, but they still have great players on their team. Herbert didn't have his best game against the Cowboys yesterday or last night. Well, not when this video goes out. It would have been like a couple days, but when I'm recording this, it was last night, and the Chargers didn't have the most convincing game with Herbert. So I'm gonna pick the Chiefs just because I trust them a little bit more. I don't trust them that much, but I trust them a bit more than the Chargers. The next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos. Neither of these teams have been really convincing. The Packers have been slightly more convincing. I guess I trust them a bit more, especially after coming off a bye week. Trust them more than the Broncos. But the Broncos defense, maybe it was just problems with the Chiefs, but the Broncos defense held the Chiefs to under 20 points, and I think that's huge for their progress. And I've got nothing else to lose. I'm gonna pick the Broncos for an upset. Why not? I'm gonna pick Denver to beat Green Bay and be another one of the 4 home teams winning a game. I would not be surprised if Packers won, especially considering they're coming off a bye week, but I'm gonna say the Broncos. The Sunday night game is the Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles lost against the Jets for the first time in their franchise history. And supposedly it might supposedly be one of, if not their best squad ever. And Hurts threw like 3 interceptions. And I think their momentum has been slowly draining over the course of this season. Maybe they're just tired out after losing in the Super Bowl. But their momentum seems to be petering out. Meanwhile, the Dolphins took a loss to the Bills, and they're still 5-1. They're still just pushing forward. They've got an amazing offense, even without A-Chain, or as I call him, well, A-Chan, or as I call him, A-Train, because he's fast as hell. Without A-Chan, they've still got Mostert, still got Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They've got a good defense as well. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. I think at the moment the Dolphins appear to be the better team than the Eagles. This is another one where I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won, but I think the Dolphins can definitely do it, and this needs to be their time because they look strong, they look scary, and they're hungry. And I'd be scared if I was an Eagles fan. And the final game on Monday night is the San Francisco 49ers at the Minnesota Vikings. The 49ers are without Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, and they still could have beaten the Browns. They just got a bit unlucky, which is a bit unfortunate, but I'm still glad they lost. Don't like the Niners. But I don't trust the Vikings all that much still. Kirk Cousins he deserves a better team, honestly. Hawkinson and Osborne, they can do their things. But ultimately, I think the Niners are just a better team at the moment, even without Deebo and McCaffrey. So I'm going to pick them to get the win. And I'm going to keep only 4 home teams winning this week. That is going to be the end of my Week 7 NFL predictions. I hope you all enjoyed. I went 10-5 in Week 6, which, with only 2 teams going on a bye week, I'd say that's pretty good. There's 6 teams on a bye week this week. The Bengals, Texans, Titans, Jets, Panthers, and Cowboys. So there's less for me to get right, but there's also less for me to get wrong. I hope I hope I do better than last week. And until next time, goodbye and have a nice day.